In the ancient kingdom of there was no sword swifter, nor heart purer than that of the knight. Leith, he was the commander of the royal guard, known as the Silver Knight, for the gleam of his armor that never rusted. Leith saw the king as a father, the kingdom as a home, and his sword as a sacred trust. Minister Ghassan, the man who had always envied Leith's position, entered with a contingent of guards. "Traitor!" Ghassan shouted. "You murdered our king to seize the throne." Leith tried to defend himself verbally, but Ghassan was already prepared. He displayed a dagger bearing the Leith family crest, which had been plunged into the king's chest moments after his death. Leith was stunned by the enormity of the treachery. He was not allowed to speak. His sword was stripped from him, his rank was torn off, and he was thrown into a dark dungeon to await execution. On the night of his execution, an old guard, whose son Leith had saved in the war, helped him. "I know your mettle, my boy," the guard said, opening the door with a trembling hand. "Run and don't look back." Leith fled, but he didn't truly escape. The Silver Knight died that night, and in his place, the stranger was born. Leith lived in the desolate forests for years, surviving by hunting, his silver armor stained with mud and rust. The pain in his heart was more intense than the hunger in his stomach. Injustice is a fire that never dies, especially when it comes from those to whom you have given your life. 5 years later, enemy armies besieged the kingdom of The Vizier Ghassan, who had become regent, was a coward and incapable of organizing the defenses. The walls crumbled, the soldiers began to flee, and the enemy drew ever closer to the royal palace. At that critical moment, amidst the dust of battle, the figure of a lone knight emerged. He wore not glittering armor, but old, worn armor and a tattered cloak. Yet the way he gripped his sword was both familiar and terrifying. The stranger cleaved through the enemy ranks like a whirlwind. He fought not for the new king, nor for the treacherous vizier, but for the innocent people he saw crying out. The soldiers rallied around him, drawing courage from his bravery, until they were able to rout the enemy and close the gates. When the battle subsided, Minister Ghassan descended to see who this hero was, hoping to claim the victory for himself. The strange knight stood in the center of the arena, removing his rusty helmet. The entire arena gasped. It was Leith, but his face was scarred, and his eyes held a sorrow as deep as the ocean. Ghassan recoiled, trembling. You're dead." Leith threw his sword, stained with enemy blood, at Ghassan's feet, and said in a voice quiet yet thunderous, "A kingdom protected by treachery is not worth my swords. I have returned to fulfill my oath to protect the weak, not to serve the oppressors." The people tried to cheer him, and the soldiers demanded that he be reinstated as commander, and that Ghassan, whose treachery was evident in his fear, be arrested. But Leith turned his back. Leith refused to return. He mounted his horse and vanished into the distance as he had come. He had proven his innocence, not with words, but with blood. Yet he knew that the wound left by injustice could not be healed by glory. Leith remained in the kingdom's memory, the knight who saved them, though they did not deserve him.